Now, well, I like to, at first I wanted to let my family know about a story or time where I worked for a company, Travelodge, but the thing is, what I mostly wanted to say was that I had a very hard time in that I was used to alcohol and smoking, and my life was not in order and it was difficult, but stubborn, the war and how you become, that I just remember that time, and it just eventually became, as I worked a lot with restaurants and food together, I always drank alcohol, and I knew it was wrong, but just carried on from there. And although, when I came home in the evenings, I was always somewhat sorry, but never had the strength to overcome that I was an alcoholic. And but my dear wife Rosemary, she, now I can say, she understood, and she always forgave me, and she always was very loving. And but one of the things also happened at that time. She was going with the children to primary and to church, and so she kept herself mostly strong, and I always was reminded by that I really should also be doing that, but I found it very difficult or just didn't want it to, and but then a time came along. I worked, as I said, for a big company, and I knew I was not really up to par there, and I was becoming frightened because I was depending on the alcohol. In fact, I remember I was actually stealing the alcohol when at night time and so on, and found myself even sometimes drinking in the morning, and that was, I knew that was very difficult, and I know I was driving cars at night time, knowing that it wasn't that strict in those days, this car patrol, but I knew that I could easily have an accident. So it was building up in this over the years, and this was a particular time where I became ill with it. I was frightened and very sick, and also very guilty that I was not living the right life. And I guess that's the time, and I looked more and more at Mum, or my wife, Rosemary, and the children, that I knew they were learning and they were doing the right things, but I wasn't. And it became very extreme then, one particular time, and that I really said, that I will go home and we'll try to talk to the Lord about it. So that's what I did. That afternoon I felt very awkward because although I tried sometimes on short periods to talk to the Lord, but this time I really meant it. And and I talked to him, I prayed to him, and I knew somehow I felt a connection there. It wasn't just empty talks, it was I was scared, and I was really wanting to overcome that difficult time. So I prayed in my very simple and humble way and told the Lord exactly, more or less, as I've been speaking now. And as I did, I could feel, maybe it was a bit scary, or maybe it was just the atmosphere or in any case, I knew the Lord was listening at that particular time. And then I'm talking about this in a few minutes, but this took place over probably several hours. And but I knew then that I felt that I was talking to the Lord then. And I explained that I would like to give this up so desperately, and if I was asking if I could get this help, and I was so desperately wanting it. And then after some time, I believe with all my heart that I heard a voice saying, very calmly, very quietly, and I heard a voice saying, if you have the desire, if you want to really give up the alcohol and smoking and other things, then you will receive strength to do that. But also indicating that would be one's only chance too. So when I was just so desperate, and I really believed it then, and I believe it now, that I heard this voice. And but I was too frightened to open my eyes. But I know I was sitting on that table there, and I knew it was there, and I knew there was a person there. I was not very experienced in those things, so I kept it as humble as I could. And then at that particular time, I heard that voice, which I just said, that I would receive the strength if I would keep my word and give up the smoking, not tomorrow, that give up the smoking and drinking on that same day. And it just, and I knew what it was saying without a shadow of a doubt. And then I tried I opened my eyes, and I was very frightened that I might, not frightened that I might see one, but because I heard that voice, and then I could see just like a white, there was no person, it was just all white, but like a creamy white, as if you look at clouds, that white, as if it is all clouds. And then I closed my eyes again, and then after a longer while I opened them again, and things were then back to normal. And I don't know, I was just shaking, and I was just very excited, very emotional, and I just very quietly first thing I knew, I took out my cigarettes, being mindful that I smoked for many years, and a packet a day was always the going thing, and also with the alcohol and so on, which I had daily. And I took the tobacco out, I used to have a pipe, and took that out and chucked all that away. And that's most of it I can remember. The only thing I remembered, because somehow Mum was there waiting for me, and my wife Rosemary, and but all I could do, she looked at me with quite worrying, because she wondered where I was all this time, and then I looked into her eyes, and she just looked at me, are you okay? And I just smiled at her. That's all I can remember. I just smiled at her and just later on, I did tell her. Yeah.
So from that moment on, you never touched alcohol or
never
cigarettes
one drink,
again?
except one drink. That was Veronica's fault.
That was, you didn't know about it.
But I never, ever, up to today, not a cigarette, not a drink,
Yeah.
not alcohol, I don't know how I did it. Yes, I do. I know how I did it. But I've got goosebumps all over me now.
Yeah.
And that just tells me that, reaffirms to me that, you know, all the things I'm saying are absolutely truthful.
It's a real miracle to just stop cold turkey like that.
Well,
you know?
I've actually not heard of anyone doing it, but both things together and the hard alcohol I was drinking every day,
Yeah.
you know, so what I'd done to be able to do that, when I looked up, I took a little soda bottle and I went into the bar and filled that up at night time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I know that it's quite shameful now, but I was actually stealing stuff, like, you know.
Yeah.
And so, but
Yeah.
that has been my experience. I've never weird of it. I've always had the same story, same meaning, and I've always, from that day onwards, I've never looked back. I felt, since that time, I switched over to being more mindful of listening to other people or helping other people, or, you know, I remember one particular story which was very special. You know, it was a lady with a pram. Did I tell you that story?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Hold on.